Lucha Libre, IWA East Coast, and OVW. Now you are watching the Dudes at Ringside podcast hosted by your friends, the Metal Geek and Joe the Panther Jr. Enjoy.
Hello there, wrestling fans, and welcome to the internationally known Dudes at Ringside podcast. I am your host, Joe Panther Jr., and this is the last day of Lucha Week. So sad. And now introducing my co-host, the happy heel himself, the Metal Geek.
What's going on, Ringside Crew? What's going on, Wrestling World? What's going on, Dudes at Ringside podcast? What's going on, internationally known? What's going on, Joe?
Just to let you know, Monday we had to reschedule Shorty from CPW. So Monday will be Not America's Sweetheart, which is on Monday. And let's
8 o'clock, right?
What, 8 o'clock? Yes, 8 o'clock. Right. Let's introduce our guest the last day of Lucha Week. Why not? We have another luchador. And now, give a warm Dudes at Ringside welcome for, what's his name, Geek?
Espiritu Maya.
Espiritu Maya.
How's it going, guys?
What's going on? How's it going?
Welcome to Lucha Week. Welcome to the last day of Lucha Week. So, we love your mask. Your mask is so beautiful, like the colors, and it reminded me so much of Ultimo Dragon. Just the way the look of it.
Yeah.
Colors and so like where did you get like the idea for your design of your mask?
Yeah, so this is actually like the V3 is how I would call it. It's the third version of my mask. So originally I actually had my whole face covered. And essentially all you had was the symbol I had up here was down over my mouth, the eye sockets, and that was pretty much it. I had a little bit of like a half sun gimmick. And then I was like, well, I want to open up my mask because I have a really sensitive nose to where the point, like anyone brushes up against it, take a bad forearm, anything, and I'm gushing. And so it took a couple of times of like my mask filling up with blood where I was like, I can't keep doing this. So one of my trainers he actually has a really good job. He does really good details and drawings and like mask design and stuff because he actually makes belts. So I asked him, I was like, could you help me out with something? Like, I want to kind of keep the concept. I want to kind of do something kind of cool where, like, I have fangs to, like, kind of commemorate the old, like, Mayan jaguar appeal to it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And just, like, some different concepts. And so he actually kind of came up with the original design, moved the symbol up to the top of the head, kind of had this poking out. And so originally I actually had it to where it was still, my upper lip was covered, and then eventually I just said, screw it, I'm just going to open up the whole thing from the nose down. And so that's kind of where I've been at now, is a combination of one of the trainers and just some ideas that I had to kind of commemorate like some Mayan ancestry. But honestly, what it ended up turning into is been pretty awesome in my opinion.
Yeah, I also love that. I was going to point out, I actually love the shirt that you're wearing. So Eddie Guerrero reminisce right there.
Oh. Yeah, man, that was one of my favorites. Like how I got into wrestling was actually the Custody of Dominic like ladder match feud, and so like for me it was just crazy how like Eddie Guerrero was basically like this complete nasty heel about this whole situation, but like was somehow at the end of it, like after the feud was over, became this lovable character. And so for me, like he just kind of stuck with me throughout. And so like I actually have like a lot of stuff that just kind of like anytime anything Eddie Guerrero pops up, it's like usually in my cart and I'm buying it.
Especially the Amio Pape. Those shirts sold like crazy. Those shirts sold like crazy. Remember those? Those shirts were actually classic shirts right there. You know?
It's so sad that like think back in those days, like Facebook really was it was like MySpace, and I heard about it like a second party how Eddie Guerrero passed away, and I called my friend Jimmy, and he was like, his mom's like, Randy, what's going on? I'm like, Eddie Guerrero died. And you could hear it throughout his whole family were just running around the house yelling Eddie Guerrero died. It was like weird. Like they're big Irish family, and they all was talking and yelling really loud. And I'm like, Eddie Guerrero died. Like, Jimmy. Randy's on the phone. He said Eddie Guerrero died. And, you hear Jimmy yelling from downstairs, what? And then the kids are all, oh, my God, Eddie. And I'm like, oh, my God, did I just cause like a nowadays a news bulletin in the house?
Yeah, you caused a family commotion, man. Everyone was not prepared for that news.
No.
It was like their own Aunt Shirley died. It's like, they all watched wrestling. Every one of them. They all knew Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah, he was beloved among so many communities. I think that's what kind of made him different, was that he wasn't just someone that like the Hispanic population loved. Like every single
Everybody
connected with it. Yeah.
Everybody. I was sad when it happened too. It was upsetting.
I found out on. Do you remember NoDQ.com?
Oh gosh, that sounds familiar. Yeah.
I found out that way. I was randomly just scrolling, and I was like, "No, what? Breaking news: Eddie Guerrero is found dead in a hotel." I was like, "What? Gotta tell Jimmy." And then I realized what commotion I was going to cause in the house. The biggest commotion of all. The biggest commotion out of everything that. So yeah, that's my. And also, as being a grandson to a luchador, it's such an honor and a pleasure to have. And also, a luchador. As being a grandson to a luchador.
Did you have a favorite match? Yeah. Did you have a favorite match from Eddie or?
So my favorite match, though, I actually once I started actually getting into wanting to become a pro wrestler and that aspect. There's Taco making his appearance here. And so once I actually started realizing I can go back and watch old matches and the network and all that, I started really going back the old WCW stuff, the early 2000s. I would say that Halloween Havoc match 97 with Ray is flat out my favorite match. There's just so much of a story to it. The hot start, just diving right into all the action. I don't know, that match is it's top tier in my opinion.
We have another fellow wrestler. It's in the chat. That's the one that's in it. That's you can actually see the there we go. He's from London, England.
Oh, sweet.
Yes, he's a fellow wrestler in your brotherhood from England. But he'll be on our podcast later in a few months. But yeah. When I was watching your highlights on Facebook, I had such a big feeling of Rey Mysterio, like a young Rey. The way you jump around and your moves and you flip around, I was like, that's when I was looking at your stuff to see if what you're all about, and I'm just like, oh man, he's perfect. We got to have him on my podcast. I have to tell him how much he makes me think of Rey. I got chills. I was like, dude, you're awesome. You're such a good wrestler. The high flyer stuff and the.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. The funny thing is I'm actually significantly larger than Ray. The crazy part is I'm 5'11", 185 pounds. So I'm relatively tall, the style of wrestling. So it's funny because I work a lucha libre promotion up in Chicago, and I walk in and I'm the tallest guy, biggest guy essentially in that locker room. And I'm just this is such a weird feeling because being in the Midwest predominantly, I go to most locker rooms, I tend to be either mid-size or the smaller guy. So being the bigger guys, that throws me off at times. So it's always a weird transition in that capacity.
That's crazy. Did you ever encounter a wrestler named Tamaku in Texas? If you wrestled in Texas?
I have not been in Texas. There's actually did you say Atomico or Tomico?
Tamaku, yeah, Savage Juggernaut.
I have not. There's actually an Atomico in Chicago that actually has a little family lineage thing going on, which is kind of cool. But I haven't been down to Texas yet. It's on my goals and the things I want to accomplish, but haven't been able to branch down south just quite yet.
We also heard that you're in OVW. I saw the promo. You're also in OVW.
Yeah. I was able to actually make my debut with them. I want to say a couple months ago now, and it was a lot of fun. Been able to do some stuff one of my I have a tag team partner that I kind of do some stuff with here in Ohio and around the area. So he's actually down there and was able to go down there, do a couple TV spots, and then schedules just haven't quite lined up recently, but I'm hoping to make my way back down again and actually kind of get some stuff going with him. It's a blast. You really learn a lot about the TV time aspect and how to get all of that done, which is kind of cool. But honestly, pretty great.
That's cool. There's one female wrestler we're trying to get on the show. She's been really busy. Is Lilith Grimm.
Oh yeah, I know she's been down there a couple times. She's really good. Always entertaining to watch too.
Yeah, we're trying to get her on. She's me and Geek were joking. Like, if we have her on, it's gonna be like the Ghostbusters doing like interviewing Dana when she's possessed. What kind of food do you like? Souls. Well, we know she eats souls, fans. It'll be like when Peter is, if you know Ghostbusters, it's like when Peter comes in after the after Dana's already possessed in the bed, like, what do you want me to eat? Souls. Well, we know that. that's my besides wrestling, Ghostbusters is my thing.
Do you have a favorite match that you participated in, or
favorite match that I've participated in? Man, let's see. Say I've had a couple cool. I think my favorite opportunity so far it was at a promotion, IWA East Coast in West Virginia. I actually so I showed up to the show. I was supposed to actually wrestle another young up-and-comer in the Midwest, Braden Lee, but he couldn't make it out. So it kind of timed out to where Assad, who was in the main event, got hurt. So I ended up filling his spot. So I ended up going from a singles match into a fatal four-way where it was myself, Jake Christ, Gory, and then Juventud Guerrera. And so, yeah. So, like, for me, like, growing up, like, the Mexicools, like him, super crazy, Psychosis, like, I was super into it. Like, I was all about them. So, like, basically, like, I went from, like, oh, like, gonna have a fun, pretty cool match until it's, like, I'm a part of a match, like, Hoovy in it. And so, like, that, like, blew my mind. And then I'd say that's probably so far been my favorite, just because it's, like, get to be in the ring with, like, one of your childhood favorites and, like, just get to be a part of that and, like, taking moves from them and all that. So far,
that's amazing,
Yeah.
He's
it really was fun because a lot of his stuff at this point is like he's just going around just crotch chopping everyone. Let's get juicy, baby, and like sitting there like after you take a move and you're like but then he's like, let's get juicy, and you're trying not to like just get super excited.
He's another one I totally want to get in touch with because he's a legend. If we could extend Lucha Week to another month, I'd do it. I'd be like because we only do our podcast now for the summer months. We like originally we were just only do our shows Mondays and Thursdays, and then we started getting the I jokingly say the New York train doors open, and then all the wrestlers started. We got this date, that date. I'm like, Lance, geek.
We have to extend it now with Thursday.
Thursday, bro. He's like, okay, and I'm just like,
because then we're going to disappoint a lot of people, and we'll say, you know what? Would you like to come in on December? It's like, that's a long time away, right?
That's what I've been doing to people. Like, we already seem like we're like having a good time. Would you want to come back in the future? Because you seem like we're having fun here. So,
for sure, 100%.
Yeah, I'll let you know when we like. So, you said you have stories because I was watching your promo. Let's hear some of your more of your fun stories from the ring.
From the ring, all right. Let's see what do we got. So, I actually so recently at the IWA East Coast 0G, I actually took a Euro that ended up busting my nose. This kind of comes back to the whole like having a sensitive nose aspect from earlier. But essentially laid out a puddle of blood from my nose on the floor. Now, if you guys are familiar with Madman Pondo,
yes. From the video games.
So I actually had Pondo convinced that I basically had like busted my nose, like was bleeding everywhere. He was like, "Are you okay? Like, what's going on? Like, is everything all right? Like, do we need to like rush you anywhere?" I'm just like, "Oh, Pondo, like I'm good. Like I promise this happens pretty regularly." And it's like to me, it kind of felt pretty cool that I had like a hardcore like legend think that I like basically like shattered my nose and was everywhere just because of how much blood I lost. So that was pretty fun. Man, there's like so many just different instances. I've had matches where like, because comedy matches in my opinion are just like the most fun. Like you can just go out and just goof off, but like, at some point actually get into the wrestling. So I had a friend of mine who is at this point kind of hung him up a little bit, but his name was Big Fish Rembowski. And he actually helped me do a match up in Toledo where it was like possibly like his retirement match, but he wasn't quite sure yet. He still had a few others that he ended up doing, but essentially his whole gimmick was he wanted to wrestle under a lucha mask that was like a fish kind of gimmick. And he wanted to come out like as oh god, what was the fake fish name? I think it was like El Pescado Grande, which is like the big fish or something. And so the funny part was is they had me go out first, and then they were like we scoured the land far and wide for his opponent, and we wanted to make sure we brought the best lucha competitor. And so here he is, and he had him play Rey Mysterio's music. So like this crowd was like, no way, there's no chance like Rey Mysterio, because like at that point Rey was still on the Indies, so they're just like, no way, like Rey Mysterio's here, like oh my gosh, like how could they not announce this? And then out comes this like 6'3", like full on like in a singlet, like just completely obvious it's Big Fish Rambowski. And like you could just tell the crowd was like, oh my gosh, like are you kidding me?
The biggest troll job ever, man.
Oh,
Yeah.
such a troll, man. And so he comes out and he's just like, we basically like had this match to where like I would go out and do lucha stuff. He's like, I can do it too. And then he would go out and just completely like just fall on his ass. Like it was so much fun. Like it was just being able to go out and just have fun with your friends. And at the same time, like, because we ended up basically like once the fun was over, we got into like the actual aspect of the match. And that was a lot of fun. Like I just think of those stories where you can just goof off and do what you need to do, but having fun with friends at the same time, I think is always just what makes wrestling wrestling.
I can only imagine. I wonder if Rey Mysterio saw that and just started laughing. And said, that's a good one right there, you know? Play my music.
I need to find that footage for sure, because I could broadcast it out and be like, the one time I almost faced Rey Mysterio.
You have to send it. You have to send it to us at the dude's page.
Yeah.
What's it called? We do have a question from the crowd here. What's the most wildest?
Nope,
Wait,
not that one.
Not that one. That's the one before that. The one before that. What's the most wildest event in the ring?
Most wildest event in the ring. Oh man, let's see. So I actually just counted up my tally. So I've had 225 matches so far in my career, like 3.5 years. So I'm trying to think, like, there's so many to think back to at this point. I'd say, wildest. So this was Rockstar Pro. We had what was called Armageddon games, which is essentially like they put up like 2 steel cage like walls on 2 sides of the ring, but then the other sides are open. So it's like a half steel cage match where anything can go. It's like you have people that can go in and out, do whatever they need to do. And so for our match, it was like a combination of like I had a feud going with the guy. There was another 2 guys feuding, and there was a tag team feuding. So basically, it culminated with like one faction was feuding against all the people that they were feuding with, and it blew off in the big match here. But that was my first time like really doing anything like crazy. So like I ended up taking like I took essentially a Russian leg sweep off a guardrail onto the floor, which like in my head sounds like a great idea. It should be super easy, super simple. You hit and you're like the wind is just knocked out. Like I was like, why did I do this? Why did I agree to this? But then the best part was I had to get back up like 3 minutes later and go into a thumbtack spot to where essentially was going in and got power bombed on the thumbtacks, and then that's when I was finally done. Oh. And so like that whole match was shenanigans though, because like you had one of my friends, Crosshairs Kelly, got busted open. I think he just hit either a post or something, and it just gashed him open. And so like I remember like I got into the ring because I had to go do something with him, and I just like look up and it's just like beat red, like just staring down. And I'm just like, oh, I'm gonna die. And so you had that. You had tables being broken, the thumbtacks. You had basically at some point in time, like they were just like someone got buried in chairs and just getting hit over and over again. So like I just think back, like that's probably like the wildest match experience I've had, because it's like it had everything. Like you had profuse bleeding, you had thumbtacks, you had bumps to the floor, you had chairs, you had tables. Like it just all around. Like that's probably just like I think back and I'm just like that's a fun time. Like I would go do that again because it's been 1.5 years. So
that kind of reminds me of a match in NYWC that's like half steel cage. It's a ladder match. It's thumbtacks. It's called the Psycho Circus. I don't know if you're familiar.
That sounds like a blast. I'm down.
It's like half the match is like a steel cage. There's tables in the match, and basically the way to win is you eliminate someone. So it's like a Soul Survivor type of thing.
That's dope.
It's kind of like a War Games type of match. So
I'm in.
He's in. All right. He's in.
When you get a chance, look up the New York Wrestling Connection.
Yeah.
and call them, or just go on Facebook, look up, tell them who you are. And they're on their Instagram. They actually have a phone number there.
Oh,
So you can call and say, "Hey, I'm a professional wrestler, and I was just on Dudes at Ringside podcast, and they told me about this certain match you guys could do called
Psychosis."
I'm down.
How do I get in? How do I get involved in this? Because I want it.
It's that show is like their WrestleMania. Basically, a lot of people. That's like their biggest show of the year. So
Yeah.
Psychosis. So,
and if you get on that card, please message us. Me and Geek will sit front row, and you can give us your t-shirts and your masks, and we will wear them ringside holding signs. Yo, get 'em. We'll be your cheering section.
All right, perfect. I gotta get on that one then.
It's a good show, and
yeah.
it's the NYWC is the hidden gem on Long Island.
Mm-hmm.
People have gone to big promotions from NYWC, like Zack Ryder, Kurt Hawk,
Oh shit,
MJF.
It's a solid list.
There's Tony Nese, right? Tony Nese, another one. Who else you got, Joe?
There's
a bunch of people, but we can't
even
think of
females. There's some females that went to AEW.
Yeah,
recently, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Trent Beretta is another one that came from that promotion. So
good to know. All right, well, shit.
New York Wrestling Connection.
Bro, Marauders like you're bromancing the bro now.
Yes, I always
romancing the bro.
I always romance the bro because I met him when I was a wee lad.
Oh, that's dope.
Him and Kurt. I met them at the show, and they were heels. I was like, "Can I take a picture with you?" And they're like, "Can we do that?" And he's like,
"Are we allowed?"
Yeah, we allowed. Like, because they were heels. They were heels in that show.
Yeah.
It was funny. And then it's for my birthday, my friend gets me he didn't tell me what he was going to get me. And he shows up with one of those COVID masks that have King Rey Mysterio.
Oh, shit.
And a Zack Ryder pop vinyl. I was like, now I got the whole package. I had them before and after.
That's awesome. That's good.
I wish this is why I wish they'd still be doing those masks. Was it revolutionary masks? They're doing like COVID masks, so they have like the wrestler's mask like on the mask. Your mask would look so cool as one of those masks that goes over your mouth like that. That would be cool.
Yeah, that was a missed opportunity because I had actually one of my friends, Arrow Boy. He actually kind of made his own to where like he had like his design on there. And I was like, I should have done that with mine. Like that would have been so cool. And like now it's pretty much like masks are pretty much like wrapped up. So it's like, well, it's too late now. So,
well, there's still people like me. I work in a grocery store and I wear my King Rey Mysterio mask. Like, and I'm like, one day I have like my regular flannel one like this on, and then the next day I come in and I'm wearing the King Rey Mysterio and I'm like working and do you need any help? I turn around, I was like, what? They're like, nothing. Your mask. I'm like, what's wrong with my mask? You're like, I wasn't expecting to see two birds with a question mark. It looks like your face is like, when they delete a picture on Facebook and it has it looks like my mouth was deleted for some bad reason. Maybe it was.
No, I get the same way. I have a Penta mask that I like occasionally like wore out because like I would rotate masks all the time. And so I had a Penta one that I wore out, and like I would always get compliments because it has like the lycra and like the shiny aspect. So like people would be like, "Oh my gosh, like your mask is so pretty." I'm like, "Oh, thanks." Like Penta would be so proud.
That's where that guy's mask came from. That one I got, the King Rey Mysterio one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's Revolutionary Masks.
I think it might be. I remember. I know exactly where you're coming from because like I know there was a couple that were like big time that like I know they made a lot of them. I can't remember off the top of the name. I want to say it was like. I think it might be Revolutionary Mask, something along those lines.
In the comments, you're saying your name wrong.
Are you a fan of CMLL or?
I try to watch Mexican lucha when I can. Really, right now, a lot of what I watch is based off of IWTV. So, like, if anything, like I know right now, like Zona 23 posts on there. Lucha Memes will post on there. It's like there's a lot of like Texas promotions or like Southern promotions that will
There's a
post on
caveman
there.
on there. There's a caveman on there.
There is. There is.
What's his name? El something Carvaro, something El. You know who I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about. How do I say it in Spanish?
Cannavaro. I feel bad.
Cannavario. Yeah, it's basically
Yeah.
caveman in Spanish, is what it is.
It's caveman. He's basically a caveman. He comes to the ring with like a club, and
Super
was
good
it?
too is the crazy thing. Like,
You know, I'm a huge fan of New Japan Pro Wrestling, so the only how I'm able to know all the names is because like they have an event in January. You know the event. I think it's Fantastica Mania,
mm-hmm.
and they do a whole show, and they have all the Lucha Libre wrestlers come to like what's his name? Oh, crap, I feel bad. I'm spawning out names now.
Happens in your life. Forget.
Yeah, it does because you have something called brain fart. You know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah. So, but you know, yeah. But Carnavaro's great. Who's Raised the Roof guy? Come on, you know who I'm talking about. From CMLL. He does this when he comes out.
Dude, that could be a lot of. That could be a lot of people coming.
There's a lot of wrestlers that do that.
Wrestlers.
Have you ever heard of the wrestler?
It's Ultimo Guerrero, I think it is.
Oh, Ultimo Guerrero, yeah.
Ultimo Guerrero, he's great. You know,
yeah.
He comes out to Raise the Roof, and he does the powerbomb on the floor, which is fantastic. You know. Yeah.
To watch 100%. Yeah, if you're the one receiving it, I'm sure it doesn't feel that great.
No, it does not.
But,
add the wind flying out of your body.
Yep, I've been there. But yeah, no, I like CMLL. I feel like I catch a lot more of AAA just because I feel like it's a lot easier to watch at times. And then I feel like AAA has a lot more of like the up and comers right now, the guys that are making their names across the board. Because like
Penta Phoenix, right?
Those two, you've got Laredo Kid, you've got Black Taurus, you've got a lot of those that are starting to get like recognized like at MOW and like ROH and all of those that just come from there. So it's like so many of the Lucha names are kind of in partnership with them right now, where I feel like CMLL kind of like CMLL used to be like the end all be all, and like now it feels like they're kind of started to like even out to where like AAA has a lot of like the cross promotional stuff with like the guys that are in the USA, whereas CMLL has like a lot of the guys that are still big names in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
So how many different color masks do you have?
Gosh, at the time, I want to say somewhere around 10 still. I can't remember off the top of my head because I've sold a few recently. But I tend to like try to have like whenever I order a new set of gear, I always order a new mask, and then I'll kind of rotate them from there. So I've got the one I'm wearing. I've got a red, white, and blue. I've got a blue and gold. I've got a silver and black and white. I have a all white. I have a black and white. I have a golden white. I actually have two golden whites. One has the mask covered that I wore during COVID. Let's see, a red and black, and then blue and green. I want to say I want to have like one or two more in there that I just can't remember. Oh, a peach one that I have. So I'm probably around like somewhere like 12 maybe currently, maybe 12 to 14 that I just rotate with my gear. I have a stupid amount of gear. Like it's bad. Like it's my addiction is just getting new gear at all times. I feel like that's where Rey Mysterio influence comes into play, because like every time you would see Rey, it's like new colors, new set, new this, new that. Yep. So like, I feel like that's the standard for a mask, guys. You have to always have like different set of colors.
Yeah, when I was choosing the colors for the show today, I was like, I wonder what kind of mask he's gonna wear. So I was trying to match it, and like Joe's like, watch, he comes in with a red mask to throw us all off. Because I chose dark green because that's the color you were wearing in the promo. So I'm like, okay, we'll use dark green. So, but yeah, so
matches you today. Actually, matches his stuff today.
Yeah, I tend to kind of have a mask or two out, like because usually I have everything packed in like my gear tubs and all of that, and I was like, I usually gotta keep a mask out or two just to I don't have to ruffle through stuff. So like I was cutting promos earlier today for some shows coming up, and I was like, I'll just go with this one. Like, one of my favorite masks. I'm a Packers fan, and so like this is what this mask color is based off of.
There we go. We got a sport. Do you like baseball also, or you just like football?
So I like all sports. I would say I like going to baseball games, but like keeping up with baseball throughout the season is something like I find very challenging for me. So like I grew up in Southern California, so I'm originally an Angels fan out there. I got into Green Bay because neither of my parents watched football, so I got into football by myself. And one of my close friends was a Packers fan, so that's kind of how that influence happened. And then when it comes to basketball, I'm actually a Celtics fan because my stepdad was a big fan of Larry Bird growing up, and so he just kind of passed that influence to me. So like my sports teams are like all over the place.
I'm surprised you don't have a red mask with the white around there for the Angels.
So I do have a red mask. It was originally supposed to be like a red, white, and then black outline. But the guy that makes my masks, like I kind of give him creative freedom. I was like, if you have a cool pattern, or if you have like anything that like stands out, like by all means, go ahead and use it. And so at that time, he actually switched it out to where it's like basically the fabric itself. It looks kind of like a plaid black and white, which looked really really sick. Like I think it's one of my cooler looking masks, and so. Like I wasn't mad at it. I was like, well, you know what? Like this does look way fucking cooler. So like, why not? But originally there was a goal to have one.
Mm-hmm. That's where you could find his T-shirts, fans. If you want to pick up one of his shirts, go there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. As we always do on here on Dudes at Ringsides, we always try to
support
the indies and support. I feel like a preacher every time I do this because I'm like. I feel like I'm getting out my little milk crate and they're like, you got to support the indies because they're struggling right now. Any way possible you can go and support any indie promotion, support them, go check out their stuff on the website. Okay.
Yeah. I said, I was going to say, buy a shirt, buy a hat, buy a shirt, buy a mask. Yeah. If he sells masks on there, right?
Yeah, if you ever want to buy a mask, just hit me up. I've got plenty I always got more space to get some new ones. And then if you want one of the ones I'm wearing tonight, just feel free to hit me up. I actually have these in my personal stock. I actually have to ship these out if you're interested, and they're not on my PWT just yet.
That is a cool shirt.
That is a cool shirt. Yeah, it's like such a throwback. I can't get over it, man. That shirt is freaking awesome, by the way.
You pop on, I was like, whoa, is that an Eddie? Oh, that's him.
That's him. So that's awesome.
Yeah. It's so cool that like we there's the pooch. There's the puppy.
It's the floofs at ringside now.
We get the puppies.
He's trying to make out with me. He sees the camera. He knows there's attention to be made.
These animals, it's a magnet.
We always have animals on our show, so it's
always
nothing.
Never fails.
It's the floofs at ringside, as our mod would call it.
So yeah, you guys have to have like a dog theme night where it's just everyone shows their dogs and highlights their dogs.
That's good. That's going to be on our highlight reel by the end of the year.
It happens every time. Like our dog, like. We had one, we were talking about Ring of Honor. That's another promotion that you definitely have to try to get into, and I'll watch it like crazy or get tickets to sit close as I can to the ring. Yeah. We were talking about Ring of Honor, and I was talking about Bobby the Brain Heenan, and the girl's cat just came in and dive bombed the camera and headbutted the camera.
It's actually on our Instagram page.
Yeah, I put it on the Instagram.
Phenomenal.
It was great. I was like, Bobby the Brain, hey kitty.
Boom.
It's like full headbutt. Like it was giving us a pound. It's like
I am looking that up after this. That is hysterical.
That was the greatest clip I think the greatest clip Geek has ever made. All right, here we go. We usually do this with the wrestlers. If you're in a rivalry right now, we would like you to call out your rival.
Call out my rival. So actually I'm kind of like in a feud, but like it's not like legitimate, I guess. So basically since the start of the new year, I have been in a match with this guy at least once or twice a month. I don't know if it's been planned or not. It's just kind of worked out that way, but his name's Atomico Jr. up in Chicago for Cali Lucha Libre. And this guy just finds a way. Every short you can take, he finds a way, and he always finds the upper hand. And so at this point, I've gotten to the point where I was actually that clip that I posted from this past weekend, with the rope walk DDT, the gift of the gods. That was me hitting it on him, and so I finally was able to get that little bit of a comeuppance. And so I hope at this point he realizes that when the odds are fair and the stack, the deck isn't stacked against me, that he's going to find that he's going to come up on the short of the stick. So Atomico Jr., if you are watching, if you see this point later on, just know I'm still coming for you, dog. It's not over. So
Um,
watching you.
Yep. How'd you get your name, by the way?
Espiritu Maya. So I was originally born in Guatemala. I was born in Mazatenango, Suchiti, Pecas, Guatemala. And try saying that 5 times fast.
Yeah.
So that the general southern Guatemalan area was actually where like the mines inhibited and like where they lived in back in the days when they were an established society. And so I always kind of knew I wanted to do something with that when I got into wrestling, but I never knew what I wanted the other aspect to be. So like I actually remember I was talking with my first trainer, Jimmy Lee, and I was saying, hey, this is kind of the theme I want to go with it, but I can't come up with another name because I don't just want to be Maya. Like that's just not going to work. And so we basically just sat there brainstorming and was like, well, like what kind of aspect do you have? And I was like, well, I think like, a ghost or a spirit or something along that lines would be cool. And so that's kind of like where it's like we came up with a couple names that just didn't stick or like didn't really pan out that we thought were either oversaturated or weren't going to be a fit. And then Espiritu was like, hey, like I don't think I've seen that around or I haven't really seen that in a while. And so just kind of used it as a test run and it worked out well and stuck with it since.
Espiritu. Yeah, I got it. Mm-hmm. Do you have?
I was saying originally we wanted to do like Guerrero or like Ultimo, and he's just like like there's a lot of established people that already have that, so it's like try to find something different that's unique that'll stand out, and so I think that's kind of where we settled on this, which honestly for me has worked out tremendously, just because like I think the name stands out a little bit more, and I've really come to enjoy it.
Do you have somebody you would like to work with today, like from AEW or WWE, or like a dream match?
Dream match. Whew. See, like, so my dog, his name has two meanings. So originally, when he was a puppy, he was very high energy. Like I would always say, he was always at 100% battery. But also, I also was a really big fan of like just like watching like Andrade and CN and all that. So like my dog's name is CN for those two reasons. So dream match would be ideally with Andrade, but again that'd be a huge test of like, do I really have what it takes to really compete at this level? And so I think that would be a fun match to have, but I'd say I'd probably still need like another year or so before I'm really ready for it.
I mean, it could happen now because he's signed to AEW, but I think he's doing independent appearances as well.
He is, yeah. So like part of me is like, I've got some money saved up, might just be like, hey, like can you book the guy?
AEW may be watching the show and may see you and put you on AEW Dark. You never know.
I would totally be down.
They were actually doing a show in Queens, New York, so they pick you up. We'll be there.
We'll see.
Someone trying to FaceTime me.
Phones at ringside and and dogs at ringside too. Oh well.
Phones at ringside. I love it.
I tell people I do my show at this time, and they still try to freaking call me. I'm like,
what time's your show at? Oh, 8:20 should be fine. 8:30 should be
8:20. Well, let's just try to get on the show by calling them. How about that? Maybe that would actually work.
My dad said, he's like, oh, do you guys have a way they can call you in on the show? And I was like, no.
Actually, we do.
What?
We kind of do. We give them the link.
No, then they come in and they won't leave, or they'll do something stupid. They'll be like, look at my boob. No, well.
Hey, if a boob came on, I'm just saying I'm not gonna look away,
but the censors would be a little mad at us. The censors from Facebook. Facebook will do. They'll give you the wave of the.
We might get kicked off.
Shadow ban forever. So yeah, have you ever wrestled on the? I know you wrestled in Ohio, but have you wrestled like in the New York area?
Furthest east I've wrestled so far has been New Jersey. It was actually a one-off, so it was got booked for a show where it was basically all masked individuals. So like we had like a huge like everyone from like I want to say Michigan East that had a mask was on the show, which was kind of cool because I got to ride along with a few of my friends from in the area. But so far, that's as far as I've gone. I haven't been able to get to New York just yet. I think right now, like with the pandemic starting to ease up a little bit, I'm going to give it like a month or two to see if things actually hold up. And then from there, I'll start trying to branch out again. Because like a lot of what I've done over the last year with everything going on, I've just basically stuck to like the promotions I know best. And so I think that's kind of where I'm at right now. And then as the vaccines and everything hold up, I'll feel more comfortable being able to start traveling out to like some new areas or places I'm not quite familiar just with quite yet.
I'll definitely have to drop that number for you. It's in my thing on Facebook, so I'll have to get the number from NYWC that they gave, and I'll give it to you later. And so that would be so cool if we're like looking at the roster. Oh my god, it'd be Geek that goes, Joe, he's on the roster. No, he's not. And he shows me the poster. Oh my god, he is on the poster. What?
Yeah, I'll say oftentimes what works too is just like on their social medias, man, just being like, hey, like this guy is great, bring him on in. Like that oftentimes works. I've seen that quite a bit. So like just keep throwing me out there, guys. I'd love to come out there and then hang out. So could always do a live show together.
So what kind of food?
That's what we're actually saying. Actually, we were saying we should like during the NYWC show we should do like a live show, but we'd have interview people, whatever, you know.
So what is your favorite? Like, what is your favorite food?
My favorite food? Oh, man, dude, I love everything. It's bad. Like, I'm a DoorDash fiend. Like, I order DoorDash way more than I should, which I'm surprised I'm not like grotesquely overweight at this point. If it wasn't for wrestling, I probably would be. Let's see. I guess honestly for me, like in regards like customization, like what I can do with it, I probably go with burgers. I love burgers. Like you can just do so much with burgers.
Burgers and pasta right there.
Yeah. Like burgers for me, burgers and tacos. You get me burgers and tacos.
There we go.
So like that's
we
for
can
me,
get
dude.
Good tacos. Long Island, we can get you some good tacos. Some really good tacos. Do you like pizza?
Oh, who doesn't love pizza?
There's certain people that don't like pizza. Trust me. I've seen it.
They can't be trusted. That's all I need to know is if you don't like pizza, I can't trust you.
There's actually the running joke of the show that it started. I don't know how it started. We should just do a pizza podcast, and then it's Lucha Week. It's Lucha Week now, so somebody brought up, oh, we should do a Lucha Pizza podcast. And I'm like,
well, if it comes to New York, we'll get it. We'll get him a nice, yummy New York pizza.
Oh hell yeah, I'm down.
New York has the best pizza.
What is your topping of choice on your pizza?
Oh, so like we have I think my favorite creation has been like those brick oven pizza places where you can just throw as many toppings as you want on like a personal pizza. So like for me, this is what I get from our local spot that has that. So like I will go pepperoni, I will go bacon, I will go Canadian bacon. I will get mozzarella, Parmesan, and what's the other one? There's another cheese that I get on there. And then I will also get green peppers. And you guys might think it's weird, but I also get roasted broccoli on my pizza. And like for me, like that, I'll get that, and I'm like, I'm living my best life. So like, I think that's like my go-to like pizza creation when I go to like a mod or like a brick oven pizza place where I can make my own for sure.
Yeah, New York has some strange pizzas. You know what I mean? You can make any type of pizza you want in New York.
I've seen a taco pizza. I was like,
they could have mac and cheese pizza. They have a chicken bacon ranch pizza. They have a baked ziti pizza, penny alla vodka pizza. Anything you want, they'll make it. I saw a meatball pizza. So, anything.
I've seen it. It's crazy.
Good to know that I'll be amongst my kind of pizza people out there.
But all three of us by the end of the party will be Fat Thor.
we'll be drinking beers, eating pizza, and playing. Do you like? Here we go. Here's a Joe question: Has anybody ever created you in 2K games?
What was that?
Has anybody ever created you in any of the WWE 2K games?
Yes, actually. So part of going down to OVW, there's actually like a put you in the game. Like basically, I believe a fan that goes to the shows and then like based on who's there will actually like create you in the game. So they created me in the most recent, I believe, WWE game. So like actually like that was pretty sweet. Like first time I've ever had anyone like actually create me like with the time and effort. Like they asked for like photos of my tattoos, like my mask and clothes. Like it like look legit spot on. Like it's pretty sick.
it's weird, like you say that, because the only person I found out of all of our guests was the girl Kiara. That's from England. I was like, and they didn't even make Shorty. They just made Kiara. Everybody else I had to create. Like I created the glamorous one from New Orleans. Mm-hmm. It's horrible to say this because we're having the CEO and the owner from that organization that she's part of on our podcast, and yet it's the owner and in his promoter, the CEO's promo, he was like, Metal Geek and Joe Panther Jr., you better go online and type up and watch all the videos. Geek hasn't done it yet. I've been watching it all the whole time since he said that. I'm that type of wrestling fan. Oh, you want me to do it? Okay, no problem. What's it called?
Maybe it's because Joe has plenty of free time. That's why. Geek has been pretty busy, so
I work.
If you got free time, man, I'm jealous because like today has been a very very busy day. That's why, like I told you guys, I'd probably have to hop on like 10 minutes before because I got off work, ran out and did some errands because I had to get my car and everything ready. Just because when you travel so much, you have to get oil changes so much more frequently. It's awful, and so had to get all that done and grocery shop and everything. So it's been a day where I've just basically been like running from the very get go.
Yeah, it's no problem. We're cool dudes here at Ringside. But the time, when people ask, oh, what time do you guys record? We're always like, what time are you available? As long as it's not 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a Monday.
Yeah. That makes sense. That's pretty sweet that you guys are flexible.
Schedule our date for next Monday, and the girl's like, what time you guys record? And I said, is it? And I'm on the phone with Geek at the same time, and I'm just like, hey, Geek, what do I say? He's like, just don't mess this up. And I wrote 8 o'clock. Is you available? He thought I said 2. And he's like, no.
I cursed when you wrote 2 o'clock, and I'm like, what are you doing? 2 o'clock? I work 2 o'clock.
I'm still stocking out my shelf in key food. I'm still stocking my aisle out, like putting the salad dressings on the shelf. No. Well, you do have an interview tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Don't forget, guys. If you're around to watch it, you should check it out. We're interviewing Echo Reed from London, England.
Ooh.
Yeah.
She's a youngin'. She's a young wrestler. She's like 19 years old.
Oh man, those are the days. I miss being that young.
She flies around, and actually my friend said, how can Lucha Week end tonight? Doesn't that girl fly around too? I'm like, well, she does submissions.
Oh, that's pretty sweet.
She does submission moves. So you definitely look her up on YouTube, Echo Reed. We have no idea. The only thing I've seen is her. I've watched one of her matches. In England, they take a lot. The girls take on a lot of guys.
Yeah. There's a lot of intergender out there.
Yeah. Here we go. We have a question from the audience.
I think he answered that already. He said Andrade.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Right. I remember him saying Andrade. So, but I do have a question. If like someone came up, did you ever get recognized? By the way, like I know it's kind of hard with the mask on. So.
Hey, in public, no, because no one knows that. Like, only people that recognize me are my friends. Like, no, I've never. I think that's like kind of the nice aspect of it. Is like if I do go out, like I never get recognized because like no one really knows. But like there'll be times like if I'm like walking around some like venues or like nearby venues and I have my mask on me or anything like that, then like yeah, people will like tend to recognize the mask a little bit more.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you can come hang out with us without your mask on and be like, it's kayfabe, man. You're breaking kayfabe, man. Breaking kayfabe, man.
Yeah, I've gotten to the point where like once it's like show day or if I know I'm around the venue or if I'm nearby, then I'll usually have it on me and keep it on. But like, for example, like today, like I ran out and did errands and like completely unmasked. And so like people will like walk by me and like they could like be like, I'll see them at shows or something and like they'll never know. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like that TikTok, they'll never know. They won't know.
If a kid asked you they want to be a wrestler, what would you tell them?
How old is this kid?
How old is this kid?
I don't know. The young kids, like that.
15.
say if they're young, I'll be like, kid, follow your dreams, do what you want to do. If they're older, I would say pursue it, do what you got to do, but also make sure you have a backup plan. I think having a plan B is always really important, especially in wrestling, because like statistically, like let's be real, the odds of us getting signed or making it are statistically very low. And so, at some point, you never know what's going to happen. You never know what life has planned for you. And so having that backup plan and having something you can do beyond wrestling, I think is really a big deal and a real aspect that I think a lot of times young wrestlers don't really think about. So I think that's kind of like my biggest thing is just make sure you're prepared for life after wrestling, or even if you're currently doing it, having a life beyond it, because again, you never know what's going to happen.
Preach.
Are there any steps you take like to prepare for a match, or anything you prepare?
Steps that I take before a match. So like for me, I always like to get a little bit of a workout pump in. So like I'll try to like bust out like 100 push-ups. I can. I'll usually like have like elastic bands or like workout bands and do those. For me, like I'm at that point like where I like to just kind of like warm my legs up a little bit. Like stretching helps, but like you can only do so much. And so like I'll have like an air jump rope and do that for like 100 skips and just trying to get my legs a little pumped up and ready to go, because especially when you're working like in lucha, there's a lot of jumping, there's a lot of stop and go, there's a lot of running, and so like making sure my legs are ready to go, I think is very important too.
Mm-hmm.
So, what did your parents think about when you became a wrestler?
Oh man, they thought I was the biggest idiot of all time. So it's funny because like growing up a wrestling fan, like my parents always like would see me like walking around with like the toy belts and being super excited or like watching wrestling. And so like I remember I came home because, gosh, I tried out. I want to say June 27th of 2017. I flew home that next week for my birthday, because my birthday is July 2nd. And I was just talking to my parents. I'm just like, hey, so like I tried out for pro wrestling, and they said I have what it takes to learn, and like the trainability and all that. So like I kind of want to do it. And I was there from like Monday through like the end of the week. And so like Monday when I told my parents, they were like, you're gonna get hurt. This is a bad decision. Like you should focus more on like your regular career, this and that. And then I think by the end of the week, it's like me talking to them about like how like the tryout went, being excited, everything like that. I think they kind of started to like break down a little bit, and we're like kind of cool with it. So like my mom was all for it. My dad was still a little skeptical, but he's like, listen, if this is what you're gonna do, you're gonna do it anyway. So like he basically got behind me, and like now it's fun because like every time I share anything or like I post anything, like my parents are like the first ones to react to what I post. And like my mom's always talking to me about how she'll like show her coworkers my clips and all that because she's like so proud and all that. So I kind of worked out.
Do you have a favorite mask?
I had one. I ended up selling it. It was actually it was kind of cool. It was the fabric was called dragon scale. So like in regular lighting, the mask looked blue, but like when lights or like spotlights hit it, it would have like a shade of purple, which was kind of sweet.
Awesome.
Yeah, so like I think that was my favorite one, but I sold it, I want to say within the last few months. I have a similar one, but it's like the accent is gold. So like it's still kind of cool, but like it doesn't quite match as much as I had with that white and blue one. But I think honestly like I get my masks through Arrow Boy, and like the work that him and his people do is phenomenal. Like they've been able to kind of expand my mask creativity and like quality of mask.
If you can, would you try to buy your mask back, or
I think I wouldn't buy it back. I would just say, hey, you remember this one mask you made? Can you just make another? I've done that a couple times. So I've had some masks that like just like I had a black and silver one that just fits so many of my different gears, and I sold it, and I'm just like, hey, I need another one. So I got another one made, and then I sold that one too. So I'm just like, crap, like, do I get another one made, or like, what do I like? I'm sticking out with the black and white one that I've got for now, but like, part of me is like, I should probably get another black and silver.
like if you went to WWE and you had a different mask for WWE, like and you wore it for that one match, you'll be like, okay, it's like, am I going to sell it and then buy it back now? You know what I mean? Because that's the first match you had with WWE.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
that's like a special match. I think I would hold on to that one, like unless there was like an astronomical like offer or number out there. But like I would probably hold on to something sentimental like that.
By the way, the mod wants to know what your dog's name is.
His name is Cien.
CN.
Yeah,
Joe, did you freeze?
he's
No,
wanting
I'm-
attention right now.
I thought you froze there. Sorry.
I'm not
I've been-
talking because he thinks I froze. Really? Yeah. So here we go. If you had a chance to bring back any luchador or non-luchador wrestler from the past to wrestle, who would it be and why?
Say, do they have to be alive or?
Yeah, that's what I said from the past. They dead or alive.
Okay. I would say alive, it would probably be Psychosis because I know he recently hung it up because of a lot of injuries. Because I'm slated to wrestle Super Crazy later this year, so I'm at that point where I would have Hoovy, I'd have Super Crazy, but I'm gonna miss Psychosis because he hung it up. So that kind of bums me out. Dead, it would obviously be Eddie Guerrero. I think that would just be cool, just to have. I honestly wouldn't I would bring him back. I wouldn't even have to wrestle him. I wouldn't say I have to be in that category, but I would have to be able to work him. But I think just being able to just sit under his learning tree and just pick his brain and his knowledge, I think that's really even at its core, that would be all I want. I feel like there's just so much knowledge and information that could be learned from what he did and what his mind processed things. And so I think that's where I would go with that one. Even if I didn't have the opportunity to wrestle him, I would just want to learn. I just want to sit. I'd be like, Mr. Eddie Guerrero, can I drive you to this booking that's 6 hours away? I don't even want to. I don't need to be a part of the show. I just want to drive you, and I would just sit there and pick his brain. If I could.
Especially, would you like to tag with him?
Dude, if I could get in any sort of capacity in the ring with that man in a way back in the day, I would have 100% been for it. It wouldn't have mattered what it was. You could have been like, hey, we're going to have you mop Eddie's match after he's done. Okay, let's do it.
That guy's got a mask on. Why is he mopping the ring? Trying to think. We already said what favorite movies. Are you playing any video games currently?
So one of my good friends, he's actually my travel buddy right now. His name is Tyler Vox. Him and I actually play Fortnite quite a bit together. So I used to play video games a lot. And then once my regular job, wrestling, that schedule picked up, it really kind of limited the amount of time that I had to game. So in my free time, I'll play Fortnite. My roommates play Fortnite. I need to get on because I think Ratchet and Clank just dropped, so I need to get on that because I'm a big Sony guy. So I have a PS5 and I have all of that. So I need to get on Ratchet and Clank because I know that just recently came out. And, it just takes me back to my childhood. But my favorite video game of all time, growing up, actually was Kingdom Hearts, and so I actually have a heartless symbol that's within my tattoo, my half sleeve on my right arm. So for me, that's my all-time favorite game was growing up was playing Kingdom Hearts because it's just I don't know, a combination of Disney and then just Square Enix taking it over. I think that was just really dope and how they did it. I remember I was a kid, that commercial dropped, and I ran to my mom and I was like, Mom, I need this game. She's like, but it's only for PS2. I was like, I know, I need a PS2 as well.
Do you have
Yeah.
Do you have a place that you would love to visit? A favorite, a country that you would love to visit, or a state?
So there's potential for me to go to Mexico later this year. So I think that's priority number one. But I think beyond that, somewhere I'd like to go, it's super cliche. It doesn't have to be for wrestling. It could just be my personal life. It's super cliche, but I just remember I was growing up and just seeing all the images and videos of Hawaii. I don't know. I feel it'd just be dope to just say I've been to Hawaii. So I think at some point I just want to travel out there, even if it's just a few days or a week, and be able to vacation out in Hawaii and say I was able to do that at some point in my life.
Have you ever thought about wrestling in Japan, New Japan and stuff like that?
So my career goals, mine has always been I want to go and wrestle anywhere I can that has significance. It's for me, ideally, the end goal would be to get signed to a point where wrestling would be my full-time job that I can, make a living off of that, whether it's in Mexico, Japan, the US, wherever it may be. So ideally, I'd love to go out to Japan at some point. I know it's such a huge wrestling hotspot, and just being able to say I got to wrestle in Japan is a cool career moment. But for me right now, I think I'm just kind of just taking things slow and just seeing what I can do. But ideally, at some point, that's the end. That's one of the goals is getting out there. But we'll see where my career takes me. I feel like life has a weird way of working itself out in some capacity.
Mm-hmm. You have anything else, Joe? Or
Geek, you have anything else?
no? Good.
What? Really? Do you have any funny stories from the road?
Okay, yeah, I've got a few. So one thing, like I mentioned him earlier, Tyler Vox and I. So like one thing, if you ever ride in a car with us, there's things you should be prepared for. One, we do a perfect recital, and by we I mean mainly him because he's done it for so long. We do a perfect recital of the Zandig Jesus promo. That will happen at least like once a car ride because it gets us in that mindset of like we're ready to fuck shit up. And then we also quote SpongeBob like a ridiculous amount. Like it's bad. It's real bad. So those are always fun because we recently had a friend, Jeffrey John, rode with us, and like I don't think he was prepared for the high level of SpongeBob quotitude that he was going to get, but he got it, and so he's now been like immersed into how that works.
I can only do Patrick, so I can't do SpongeBob because my voice is so deep.
Oh man, it's a great time. Like I don't know why, but like the episode where it's like employee recognition today or whatever, and like SpongeBob gives him like a sweater and its eyelashes, but then like he cries him the other sweater and he's like, is this one better, Squidward? I made this one with my tears. The line later on with Mr. Krabs where it's like, the boy cries you a sweater of tears and you kill him. Like, I don't know why. It just pops me every time. It's just so funny.
I can see the next promo. Your next promo, you have to do it in SpongeBob voice.
Shoot, I'll try. My voice doesn't get that high, man. That's one story. I'm trying to think. Oh my gosh, Queen Aminata. She's been on AW Dark here recently, but she's originally from South Africa, or not South Africa. She's from Africa. She's from, I want to say, Ghana or Guinea. She's gonna kill me because I should know. But traveling with her is hysterical, man, because like there's so many things like words or phrases that we know commonly in America that she's not quite familiar with. So like, and like it's gonna get a little rated R here, but like her protein intake is stupid high, so naturally she's a little gassy. And when you're in a car ride with somebody for like 3-4 hours, they're naturally not gonna hold that gas forever. So like she will let them rip, and I love you, Amy, but I'm telling everyone this story because it needs to be known that you're a gassy bitch. But she will let them rip, and then like next thing you know, it's just like you're sitting there and like you start dying, and you're like, "What's going on?" It's like Amy's like, "I'm sorry, I farted," and we're like, "Amy, what the fuck?" So
you should definitely tell her about us. We would definitely love to interview her as well in the future.
For sure, I will definitely pass that along because she's a wild time, man. She's great. She just doesn't understand. Her catchphrase is, "I'm sorry, you guys know I'm not smart," like because she doesn't know our lingo and our phrases and whatnot. So she's fun to ride with. And then there's another one. So one of our friends. This is actually recent. It's actually like it was really funny. We have one of the trainees at our school like recently graduated this last year, and so like what a time to graduate during the pandemic, right? But so he graduated and like started hitting the road with us, and he's a nice kid. His name's Saturn Price, but he's a little reserved at times. And so like we try to like just hang out like because we're all like we're friends with him. So he knows like if we're messing with him, it's because we like him and like all this other stuff. But there was one time I can't remember like what he said, but we basically like turned it on him and essentially put words in his mouth to where it made it seem like he said something that was racist. Because it was me and Luis Casanova, who's another Hispanic. So we're just like, wow, like we can't believe you would say something so demeaning about the Hispanic population, Saturn. Like, what's going on? Like, what happened to you? And like you can see him like in his mind, he's internally panicking because he thinks like we're legitimately pissed off at him. And he's just like, what? I never said anything like that, guys. I'm so sorry. Like I didn't mean it. And like just going back and forth and like. It's those like weirdest moments where like it just compiles on, and he's like, guys, I never said that, and we're like, oh, so now you're calling us a liar? So not only are we this, but now we're liars? Oh my gosh, like what is that? What? I can't believe this. How would you say this about us? And then he was just like, oh my gosh, like I'm never traveling with you guys again. Oh, so now we're liars, and now we're terrible drivers. Like, oh my god, like why do we invite you on these trips? This and that. And so like you can just see like him freaking out. It's just simple stuff like that. I don't think I've ever had like anything crazy to like I've had my trainer tell me stories of guys that have like legitimately had to like poop out of their car window or anything as they were going because they couldn't
Oh
stop.
God.
So like stuff like that. Thankfully, I have not had to experience quite just yet. I think the closest I've gotten to that was one of my friends that was riding in me basically moved himself from the front seat to the back seat while we were driving to be able to piss in the bottle because he didn't want me to see him pee in the bottle.
Oh my God, jeez.
Jeez, wrestling stories. Jeez, I love it. This is what
this has to be a clip now.
this is. This
No, I'm being serious. This is gonna be a clip, and it's gonna be posted on the Instagram page.
Go for it.
okay, cool. We don't want you to be like, no, don't do that. But we're not gonna post the farting one on there because we don't want your friend to come after us and come after
yeah.
you.
Yeah, no, don't post Amy's farts. That's what she has to watch all the way through the fine because otherwise she'll murder me. She's already a little snug as it is. I don't need her laying them in harder.
Oh geez, she'll Dutch oven you in the car. She'll just be like,
I don't think she'll come after you. I think she'll try to find us as well for posting it.
I live in Partsville, Pennsylvania. Try to find my town.
Say she's gonna shoot hard on me, brothers. I don't need this. I don't need to work to turn into a shoot.
Oh, help me, dudes! You're my boys. Geek, you do it.
I didn't post it.
You posted it, Joe.
YouTube posts by itself, right?
Whoopsie, accidentally Yeah. So yeah. Okay, here we go.
Taking over center stage.
Oh.
What is the weirdest thing a fan has asked you to autograph or given you?
Weirdest thing. I get arms a lot, which I think is really weird. I had a fan ask me to autograph their forehead before. That was also interesting. I've autographed a phone case. I've autographed masks that I don't even like. It's just like a generic random mask from like some other luchador. I'm just like, are you sure you want me to? You don't want them to sign it? Like, no, I was like, okay, whatever. That's weird. Because they're gonna show up one day. You're gonna see them. It's like, hi, can you sign this? Someone's already signed. It's like, oh yeah, don't worry about him. That'll be a fun conversation. Weirdest thing I've been given. I actually haven't been given any weird stuff, thankfully. I've had a fan give me like a little like Funko drawing of myself. I've had a fan give me a necklace. I think I've had a fan give me a shirt before. So like really common things. I've been thankfully lucky, like knock on wood. I haven't had like any like weird stuff just quite yet. Like I think that'll be the day like where I know I officially made it. Where like I have a fan be like, hey, here's like my bra pad. I'm just like, oh, thanks. I will hang this up.
Watch, that's gonna happen to you, and then the next time we come back, guys, Joe, it happened.
If it happens, like if it happens,
you jinxed me. You jinxed me. You guys.
If it happens, I will let you guys know immediately. I'll be like, hey guys, the bra pad thing had happened.
You have to tag us in it. You have to tag us in it.
100%. You'll be the first to know. Like I said.
Oh my god.
Do you have any crazy crowd chants or from a wrestling show?
Aren't any great? Oh my gosh, you guys need to. If you guys haven't been to a Lucha Libre show, you need to go to one where like the crowd is predominantly Hispanic because them motherfuckers get crazy, bro. They will bring in like the wooden noisemakers. They will bring their vuvuzelas, and they will get going. So like they're all in Spanish. So like if you speak Spanish, like you understand like some of the shit they're saying. So like there's a wrestler at the promotion I work for. His name is Axel. And he has a bunch, like his hair is really curly, but he buzzes the side, so like the curls just kind of go straight up, and so like they'll call him Broccoli Head out there. They'll call him Borat. You'll get a bunch of like just chants that are like Hispanics have no issue like chanting cuss words. Like I think that's one of the cool things about them is that you go to these shows like you'll just hear cuss words being chanted to the heavens. So like. They'll sit there and they'll be like, like puto, which is basically like,
you gotta go to one of those shows.
Yeah, and they'll go from there. Like, what else? I'm trying to think of like some of the other things. It's like they just have so much personality. It just makes me laugh. Like, they'll sit there and just shit talk you the whole time. So like, if you have like if you have thin skin, like they will straight up like they'll eat you alive if you're not ready for it.
Oh man, I gotta hear some of these chants, man. You know.
Man, Geek, we have to go with me, you, Mima Mania, and Armad go to a Spanish wrestling show, but it'll be like, here we go. when I was younger, I used to watch AAA wrestling in Long Island, and I went to my friend's house, and my friend's like, "Oh, WWE is not nothing. WCW is not on. What are we gonna watch?" I was like, "You flip to the channel," and he's like, "Oh, Randy, let's watch AAA. It's always a good time with AAA." And I'm like, "Yeah." So we were watching. The announcers talking, blah blah blah. The matches are going, and the whole time my friend's doing this. What are they saying?
Dang.
What are they saying?
What are these chants, brother?
And I'm just like, I finally had it, and I like elbowed him in the knee, and he's like, "What, dude? I don't speak Spanish. I don't know what they're saying. I just figured it'd be a to watch on a Saturday morning,
right?"
Like, my last name maybe Ratik was, but Jesus, man. You can't go wrong. As I say, you can't go wrong by watching a AAA wrestling show. It's always a fun show to watch.
Oh, dude, they're so entertaining too, and some of the stuff that they can pull off is just ridiculous.
And the roster on the AAA, well, at the time, that's when I think that was like mid 2000s, late 2000s, when I forgot who was on the roster about that time. I don't know if it was an old show, but they would film the shows and then they would have them on Novella channel, and that's how I would see it. Because my friend's like, WWE's on, it's on, it's Saturday afternoon. What are we gonna watch? I'm like, flip. Oh,
AAA.
Cool. It's always good with AAA, and that's my fun random wrestling story with Joe, and I'm sticking to it.
No, I'm here for it. That's dope, dude.
Here we go. We got a question from our friend Meme Mania.
Speaking of devil,
yeah,
we've got what's up?
What got me into wrestling, or is it who?
Whoa, it's who?
So, if you're asking who got me into wrestling, like into indie wrestling, so it was actually one of my fraternity brothers from college was actually a ring announcer. His name's Cody White. He ring announces for a couple promotions here in Ohio, and so he actually got me to go to a local show out here in Mansfield, Ohio, for the ASWA, American States Wrestling Alliance. And so I went, and I was just seeing the show, and I was like, wow, this is actually really cool. I'd never been to an indie show before, and I was like, in my mind, I was like watching. I'm just like, you know what? If these guys can do it, like I can do this. So I went to one more show, watched that show, and I said, all right, like I can do this. I can legitimately like pursue this. Like I can pull this off. So I contacted him. I asked him, like, how do I get involved? Like, how do I do this? So he forwarded me the information to the training school. I reached out. So I was able to get a hold of Jimmy Lee. And so, like I said, I went for the tryout, and I scheduled my tryout like 4 months away. Because I knew at that time I wasn't in the best of shape because I had gotten out of like college. I had drank a lot of beer in college. And so I put on a little bit of weight, and I was like, I need to get back in shape before I can do this. So I basically got back in shape, worked out like pretty much like 5 days a week. And then once that training came around, like I was so nervous, man, because like I knew it was going to be a lot of cardio. I knew there was going to be maybe a couple bumps involved, and like I have no idea. So like I went through, did the training, which I did the tryout, which was essentially what our warm up is when we go to the ASWA training center. So it's a lot of you take a few bumps, you do some flip bumps, you do some handstand bumps, and then you do like grape squishers, which are essentially like burpees in the corner, like when you're doing the high knee burpees. You do a lot of up downs, a lot of like running the ropes, and so a lot of it is basically like, can you just hold up, and then can you take direction on how to do the stuff. So like when you first start out, like you don't actually just take the regular bumps, like you have to do like a assisted like version of it to where you can actually like not completely mess yourself up. So that was actually really cool. And then from there, I just kind of took off. Like originally, my first year, I just did a couple of shows in Ohio. Wasn't really doing a lot. And then when I moved down to Columbus, I got connected with a lot of the wrestlers down here, and then the school over in Newark, which is the Ohio Pro Wrestling Academy. And it basically kind of took off from there. I started getting in cars, started just traveling out more, and then here we are. I think now I've wrestled in like I want to say 8 states: Ohio, Michigan, Indiana, Kentucky, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Illinois, North Dakota, West Virginia. So 9 states. Yeah, 9 states in the first 3 years. So not too bad.
Have you ever been on Botchamania?
Not that I'm aware of, and if I am, someone please let me know because I'll fucking laugh my ass off because I've definitely done some botchy shit.
and make sure you highlight. I guess make sure you highlight it so you can put it on your Instagram.
Oh, 100%. I put it on my resume. I'd be like, wrestling resume, have been on Botchamania, can promote shows with Botchamania footage.
Botchamania is great, by the way. I don't
That
know.
DDT you hit on that guy, I was looking at it like a little bit ago before the show, and I was like, oh, he posted a new video.
Yeah.
Ooh. If you have that footage on your phone, can you send that to the Dudes That page or message? Because I want to post that and be like, that could be your clip for what you do. Because
Yeah, for sure. I can send that to you guys. Yeah, that's actually my finisher. I call it the gift of the gods.
gift of the gods,
Gift
gift
to
of the badge.
It's kind of like a flip on words. That's like what's his name? Tyler Black's old move, God's Last Gift in Ring of Honor.
Yeah, I watched a lot of Lucha Underground, and so like they had the old Gift of the Gods title, and like now that I don't even know what they're doing, if they're coming back or if they're not. But I was like, you know what? While I've got this, I'm gonna just go run with it, and then hopefully it leads to a Underground appearance if they do come back.
Azteca Underground, right? So, and what's the name? I think they just announced that Dario Cueto's coming back.
Yeah, he's been on MLW. He's been doing the Azteca stuff, but I don't know if he's actually going to be able to come back for like the full on Lucha reboot. But we'll see. Time is healing itself, and so a lot of these promotions are able to come back.
I'm so surprised that AEW or WWE never picked him up. I'm so surprised. You know.
Oh, he was a good front office person for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
I think what else? What is your favorite? What is your favorite place to stop at when you're on the road?
Sheets by far.
Sheets. You know, it's funny that I live in Pennsylvania. We have a Sheets. And that's one of my favorite places. Explain.
Explain to a New Yorker, because the New Yorker, there's no Sheets down here.
Oh man, so Sheets, it's essentially what do you guys have out there? Do you guys have Wawa by chance?
Yeah, we have Wawa.
No, we don't even have Wawa.
It's in Jersey, but I've been to Wawa.
It's essentially like Wawa, where it's a gas station, but like it has like some high quality kitchen food that you can get, and it's just like, I don't know what it is. It's just, to me, it's like standard food, but at the same time, we just see the allure of it being Sheets, and like when you get it, you're like, it's usually after you've wrestled, you're tired, you've been on the road probably for like an hour or two at this point coming home, so you're starving. You stop at Sheets, and like it's just got everything you could ever think or want of, and then you just go to town, and it's just like, it's a godsend, man. I love Sheets.
Are there I know this is kind of a personal, but are there how's everything going from where you are? I mean, are there vaccines yet, or?
Yeah, so I'm fully vaccinated. I know a lot of my friends are fully vaccinated. In Ohio, they have like the mask mandates and everything have been lifted, so like everyone is quote unquote, if you're vaccinated, quote unquote, you're not allowed. You don't have to wear a mask anymore. So you have a lot of individuals that aren't wearing them. I'm actually surprised because you do still see some individuals that are wearing them, which I think is pretty sweet. But I think at this point, like it basically got to a point where it was like, hey, if you're able to get vaccinated, cool, go do it. If you haven't, well then like you're kind of testing your luck is how I see it. So it's kind of in a weird spot, but things are starting to open back up. I know a lot more of Ohio promotions are trying to open back up, which I think is pretty sweet because for the longest time in Ohio, all we really had was Future Gates Wrestling, which was down in Cincy, and then Wrestling and Respect, which I work for, was in Lima. And like those were the only two promotions that were running for the longest time.
I don't know if you saw the meme. It said, "Yeah, this store requires a mask," and it has a luchador on the picture. You saw? So that's pretty funny. So I pretty much figured you'd get a kick out of that one, you know?
Yeah, for sure. No, I saw that one and I laughed. I was like, because especially for the pandemic, like I said, I got a few masks that had like the mouth covered. So I was set. I was like, oh hell yeah, like I can go anywhere with these. I'm good to go.
Our friend Meme Mania, I don't know if you saw in the pictures, he's wearing a tiger mask right now there in the picture. I don't know if you see it, but
that's sweet.
He has a tiger mask, but he's a cool guy, you know.
You would like Meme Mania. He's cool. He loves his wrestling. He loves his wrestling.
Loves
Okay,
wrestling, and he loves Botchamania too. Botchamania is like his go-to right there. So
I was about to say, it sounds like he loves wrestling, he loves Botchamania, and he loves memes. So, like, sounds like my kind of guy.
He's funny as hell, and also Meme Mania knows how to cook really good too. He's a cook.
So be careful. He might make a meme about you. You never know in the future.
Hey, bro, if you meme me, go for it. Just make sure you tag me. That's all I ask for.
There you go. Hey, if you come to New York, we'll bring you to Meme Mania's house. We'll make a feast. God, he's probably like, "What are you doing?" Like, he's calling him, like, "What are you doing?" Yeah. Did you watch? Wait, there we go. We had a question from Meme Mania. We didn't answer.
I think you asked it, but you want to say it again, or
who was your favorite wrestler growing up?
So I had a few. I've already kind of touched on Eddie and the Mexicals, but like other ones that stood out for me were like, dude, I was a huge Batista mark. I don't know, like I would watch SmackDown. Like you just see like this monstrous man that would basically just like run through everybody. Like Batista was a definition of like, look, every single bit part of a wrestler was fucking amazingly strong. And like at that time, I also hated JBL, like, absolutely with a passion. Hated that man.
Everybody hated him.
Oh God.
Yeah, so like when Batista would come in and just fucking dismantle JBL, I was like, fuck yeah, this guy fucks, dude. I was like, hell yeah. So like I was a huge Batista mark. I loved Batista and what he did. I was also like I was that kid that would just go around throwing up the Orton. So like I was big into like the mid 2000s like SmackDown. I think I watched a little bit more than Raw. So like your Jerichos and your He Who Shall Not Be Named. So yeah, like I was a big SmackDown kid growing up.
My favorite growing up was Triple H, and he used to hate me so much. He used to be like, pardon the language, he'd be like, "Fuck you, geek." It's like, "I'm leaving. Triple H won again."
Oh yeah, I was so mad. I got so mad one time. I just jumped out of the living space we're in. I was like, fuck you. And he's like, was that English, Joe? And just like,
I'll pull the Eric Cartman saying, "Screw you guys, I'm going home."
Gang hang.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you watch like when you have time, do you watch like cartoons and stuff like that or not really?
I tend to watch series. So like right now, I know the new Loki series drops. So I got to catch up on the episode that happened yesterday. Dave, I know, just kind of re-kicked on. So like I'm big on series just because it's like if I can binge watch something when I do have like a free weekend, I'll try to do that. So like I was very big on Game of Thrones before the last season, just completely butchered everything.
I'm glad I never got into that.
Superhero shows, I'm really big into those. So like the whole like everything that Disney's been dropping for Marvel this year has been great. Same with what's it called?
Star Wars.
Star Wars, yep. The Mandalorian, I'm big on that. I actually have a set of Mandalorian gear, which is like one of my favorites to wear. But yeah, like honestly, like there's so many just that random series. Like my friends will be like, "Hey, have you seen this?" I'll be like, "No, free weekend, check it out, binge it." That was a great show. Like I wish I would have seen that earlier. So like it's all over the place. Because like I said, yeah, like for me, when I have free time, it's usually either like I have to make sure I go to the gym at some point, have to spend time with the kids here because like if I'm gone all weekend, I feel bad if I don't hang out with them during the week. So it's a very busy life as a parent when you've got two of these kids here right there.
One show I got
a good series you should watch. The series called Atypical. It's about a kid with autism.
Ooh.
Yeah, Down syndrome. Autism. Yeah, it's awesome. The kid has autism. It's like the kid has autism, and the show is like how he reacts to the world.
Yeah,
it's a good show. It's coming back for its fourth and final season, July 11th. I want to say. It's a good series. It's called Atypical.
I'll have to check it out.
Michael Rappaport is the dad.
Oh.
Yes, he plays the dad.
I'll definitely check that one out.
And
Yeah,
then
once-
everybody's favorite, Stranger Things.
Oh, I love Stranger Things.
It's coming.
Yeah.
I saw the first preview trailer. They didn't show anything. They just played one of the kids saying 11. And I'm like, oh, something's happening here. It's happening.
One show I got him into was Rick and Morty. He started
Oh
dying.
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh my god.
See, I've seen like one episode of Rick and Morty, but like I haven't seen the whole thing. I don't know. Like I never. I guess the one episode just must have not have done it for me. But like, I'll have to give it a chance. I have a lot of friends that are super into it, and I need to actually give it a chance.
Your dog just did the whoa thing. Like,
Yeah, he does it. You comfortable over there, dude? He's weird, man. He's got a personality.
Mimi wants to know, do you watch Dark Side of the Ring?
Yes, I have not seen this recent season, but I tend to watch them here and there. So like, it's just really interesting. Like I remember I watched the Owen Hart one, and just all these things like that you can clearly see just like isn't gonna work out, and like just the fact that he still went through it. Like I would have seen that clip, I would have seen what was going on. I would have been like, nah, dog. Like I have a fear of falling from heights, so like that would have been my first thing. Is like I'm gonna fall. Like this is not gonna work. So like it's just so crazy to see like how different the times have changed and how like what was accepted back in the day and like what has changed now. And it's just the evolution of wrestling is always interesting to kind of see and be a part of.
Did they make a Lucha Underground Dark Side of the Ring? Because somebody said they did.
I haven't seen one yet, but they might, because like I mean LU and as a whole, like it has its ups, but it also had a lot of its downs too, with like a lot of the background stuff and what was going on there.
Do you know how true a lot of that stuff was, or if it's rumors, or like with like the contracts and everything?
I don't have any firsthand experience or firsthand knowledge of anyone that worked. I think the only person that I probably could find out about would have probably been Sammy Callahan, just because I know of through the Dayton area, a lot of people like actually were familiar with him. But I haven't gotten to confirm anything just yet. But it honestly wouldn't surprise me. I feel like those contracts, from what I've heard, were just brutal all around.
Like they own you basically. Like you can't do this, you can't, and you're there for life basically. Some people got out of it.
Yeah, I remember Rey Mysterio basically had to like fucking threaten to sue them, and then they were like, "Okay, like we're just gonna go ahead and let you go, buddy." Like,
so damn. So I mean, I would love to see a Dark Side of the Ring one day. You know, with all the wrestlers that were involved.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll happen, especially since it's getting like traction and notoriety as like a solid like reputable show. I think it'll happen sooner than later.
And like a lot of people don't work for Lucha Underground anymore, so it's basically a be all tell all now.
Yeah, as long as there's like NDAs, then they should be able to tell those stories. But if Lucha Underground was smart, they should have worked some non-disclosure agreements into those buyouts to make sure they don't get screwed. But we'll find out eventually.
Yep. Anything else, Joe?
I'm reading the bottom where Mima Mania has.
It just got the what's it called? The Eighth Wonder of the World, the true story of Andre the Giant. It's a great book.
Ooh, I'll have to check that out.
Uh-huh.
That's a Andre as a whole, man. That's like such a sad to like look back, because like you could just like look, knowing what we know now about like his time and like how his body was like just constantly failing him and how he was in a lot of pain. Like it just makes it like it's because he's so appreciated. Like obviously what he did, he was ahead of his time. He was the big man wrestler before like the big man wrestler was really a common thing, I'd say. But just like looking back and like knowing he was in pain and like knowing what he had to do to be able to put this all on, like entertain fans, like you really get to appreciate, the sacrifice that he would make just to be able to put on wrestling and be good at wrestling.
That was a great documentary, by the way, the Andre the Giant documentary. It was fantastic.
100%.
Yeah, like it's the thing that you could watch the sport, or in your case, you could do it. You know what I mean?
Or you could podcast it.
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah.
All right. I got nothing else. This was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have to go, we're completely good.
I'll say no. It's been a lot of fun, guys. I appreciate your time. I'm gonna try to run and hit my gym before they close at 11 here. They haven't gotten back to their non-COVID hours yet, so it's like always. I'm a night lifter. I can't wake up early to save my life. Like I sign into work at 9. And my friend's like, you have so much time before you sign in to go to the gym. I'm like, yeah, but my ass is not waking up at like 6 a.m. to go to the gym. Because like if I wake up at 6 a.m., I'll be like, wow, I hate my life. Why am I up this early?
Yeah.
It's those late night travels, man. You get used to traveling late at night. Like I got home on Monday at like 4 a.m. from our Chicago booking, and I had to be up at work. I had to be up for work 4 hours later. So it's just like you just get used to being up.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, all right.
Is he still in the room or did he go?
No, he left. So all right, but I guess we want to thank Espiritu Maya. Oh, he's back. So.
Oh, he's back. Right. What happened?
Did the phone cut off or?
Phone probably cut off. I'm feeling it right now, and it's a little hot, so it's probably like we're just gonna shut the party off. So I apologize for that.
It's all right. It's all right, dude. It's all right. If you want to say your goodbyes, that's cool. You know.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you guys having me on, man. Whenever you have time again, or next Lucha Week, or if you guys expand to a Lucha Month, by all means, let me know, and I'll be happy to come back.
Sorry.
Yeah, but no, I appreciate you guys' time. It was a blast just being able to chit chat with you guys and learn a little bit more of what's been going on in your area and what you guys have been up to. But overall, just want to shout out just some of my friends real quick if I can, because I've had a solid riding crew for the last couple of years, especially during the pandemic. So Crosshairs Kelly, Pat the Bruiser, Tyler Vox, Jeff John, and then all my friends up in Gali, Lucha Libre, like you guys have been killing it. Rich Maj down at EWE. Appreciate everything you've done for me. So it's been a blast, my guys.
All right, thank you so much. But and like I said, if anything, the show gets bigger, we'll have a Lucha year or Lucha month, like you said.
Oh God, Lucha month.
All year, Lucha. That's it.
I'll Lucha all the time, as it should be.
Always Lucha forever.
We'll change the name to Lucha Dudes at Ringside.
Lucha Dudes at Ringside.
Lucha Dudes at Ringside. Hell yeah, that's what I want to hear.
All right, have a good one. Thank you so much for coming on. Thank you so much.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Have a good night.
Stay strong. That was cool.
That was a great interview, dude.
That's a great interview.
I just want to thank Espiritu Mayo. Thank you so much for coming on.
You want to purchase his t-shirt, that cool Eddie Guerrero t-shirt he has, go right there, guys. Go purchase his t-shirt.
Or you also follow him on social media as well.
Yes.
All of his social media platforms. So, but if you want to say, well, I'll say my goodbyes first, but I just want to thank Espiritu Mayo for coming on our show. Thank you so much. Thanks for all the great comments. There were great fans we have. And I just wanted to say thanks. If you could, you don't have to. Streamlabs.com, http streamlabs.com/dudes@ringside, http/dudes@ringside. And I'll take it over to Joe.
As I always say, please support your local indies and go buy a t-shirt, a hat, a mask,
a button,
a COVID mask, a button, a patch, anything from them. Go buy his stuff. Smith and Myers.
Yeah.
Go buy the cool Eddie Guerrero shirt he has. And just remember, as I would say, thank you to my grandfather, Jose Quinones. Thank you to my cousin, Pete Sanchez. And thank you to my uncle's godfather, Frank Martinez, the Blue Demon, for lighting the way for Latino wrestlers. Good night, everybody.